Good evening, good evening. Welcome on into another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always tonight by Jay Ballard and my dad, Jeff Lowe. How are we doing tonight, guys, Jay?
Jay, you there?
Jay?
I'm here. I didn't hear a word y'all were saying for a second.
He said, "How you doing tonight?"
Oh, I am doing great. Obviously better than my audio is doing. So, yeah, I'm doing great,
How you
Jay.
doing, Dad?
Doing good, doing good.
A rather interesting game happening over the weekend. The Virginia Cavaliers played host to the Washington State Cougars. Wazoo, as some like to call them, came away with a victory. But before we get too far into it, I want to remind you all that this episode of the Cavalier Connection is brought to you by our friends over at A Squared Pizza, Charlottesville's go-to spot for incredible Detroit-style pizza, wings, and more. At A Squared, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and a whole lot of passion. Blending classic recipes with creative twists that keep you coming back. Whether you're grabbing dinner with family or hanging out with friends after the game, A Squared is the perfect spot for your dinner needs. Stop by 1764 Timberwood Boulevard in Charlottesville or give them a call today at 434-465-2186. Again, that's 434-465-2186 to place your order today. A Squared Pizza, where tradition meets creativity and every bite is a win. You definitely want to go check them out. That Detroit deep dish style pizza, you can't beat it. Definitely go check out A Squared today. With that being said, let's get to our Mincer's moment of the week now. As Virginia had a couple good moments that could have been used, but I think there was one clear one that was the first time since I think 2017 that a game was decided on a game-winning safety, and it was made by the tackle made by the man that goes by the name of Cam Robinson.
Just barely not a safety. I think he just did get the tip of the football on it. Oh, they call it a safety. It looked like.
Yeah, 'cause he knocked that run out quick.
Yeah. Wow.
You can see them come through right there. Just tell him to cut the fat off the edge.
Oh, it's because the ball came loose. That's a reason it's a safety. Voorhees hit.
So there you go. The first time, I want to say probably the first time in Virginia history, definitely the first time in Virginia history, Virginia wins a game off of a safety. And Cam Robinson ends up getting credit with the tackle. And, there you have it. And I want to mention, too, before I throw it to you guys, if you notice when the referee announced there was a safety, you know how hard it was to hear the referee because of how loud it was in Scott Stadium? That was awesome. What are y'all's thoughts, Jay?
Yeah, I was gonna say my takeaway from that was, man, the crowd. Like, I didn't get to be there, so I was watching on television, unfortunately, instead of being in the stadium. But it was loud. I mean, it was loud on television. Yeah. I can imagine what it sounded like there. So, they caused multiple penalties with the noise that they generated. Hey, the force side was real. That's what we've been wanting for a long time, and
Woo!
it was good to see.
Yeah, no, Mason and I were right down there. Those penalties that happened were right down there at our end. I know Coach Elliott mentioned it was cool. It wasn't at the student end. And in the first half, we had the same thing. It was right down there at that end as well. There were some big false start penalties down there that the crowd was playing a big role in. And so that was pretty cool. The other thing, as I'm watching the game during the game and when it was 20-10 and everything just looked bleak. And I'm sitting there and I swear to you, I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, there's not a Mincer's moment tonight. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, I can't do this to Mincer's. I can't even represent this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to find, something else to represent.
You have to go to the basketball scrimmage.
I thought I was going to have to go to the basketball scrimmage. I was like, I can't believe what my eyes are seeing. And then lo and behold, thank God, man. I mean, whew, I was negative Nelly. There's no question about it in the stands. But they pulled it out, and teams that make runs and good teams, they find a way to win in their worst of performances, and they did, thanks to a little help from Washington State as well.
Thanks to a little help of Washington State as well is a great statement there. So we're going to dive into this game a little bit. Be sure to check out or give us any comments. You got anything to say in the live chat? A quick minor announcement, by the way, as you may have seen me post about on Twitter or whatever, our X account is suspended for whatever reason. And I'm saying that because if you want to watch us now, you have to watch us on Facebook or YouTube, which we want you to listen to us on YouTube anyways. But a lot of our listeners are on X. It's really frustrating. We're hoping that our appeal will get through, but that's just a minor note. So if you know anybody who likes to listen to us and they're wondering where we are, we're still here. Our X account suspended. So be sure to tell everybody to check out our YouTube, The Cavalier Connection, because we are still going to be on here no matter what happens with this appeal. So I just want to throw that out there.
And I was gonna say, I don't even. It's not a minor. It's a major issue here, folks.
It is a major issue, but
Elon,
it's not a part of the
if
game.
you're watching, Elon, I'm sure you're tuned in right now. Elon, we need some help here. This is ridiculous. We haven't done anything.
It's a detrimental loss for us having our X account. We have all of our followers. Our mass base of followers is on X. So, and my man Jay Ballard built a lot of that up brick by brick. So.
We
really need some help to get that back.
Hey, the shipyard, the work at Jay's work. There's a lot more work getting done out in Newport News right now.
Hey, some of his coworkers listen. You got to be careful. His bosses, his coworkers
listen. But Jay's definitely built that thing up.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, especially because all we do is post about Virginia, and so. All it takes apparently is someone reported us for not being authentic, which means basically they think that we have tried to be something that we aren't, or bots or whatever. And somehow I don't know how. What I don't understand is how Twitter could look at it. So you get we get reported, but then there's supposed to be some type of investigation. What did you find? Like, look at our account. What did you find? What did you find?
So what I'm wondering is, could we go report the Virginia Tech account and we would get them suspended too? Is that how it works? I don't think that's how it works.
I don't know. I'm at a loss. All I can say is that I sure hope they get back to us because it's really frustrating.
For sure. So back to being on point. And again, if you have anything to say, any questions, let us know in the comments in the live chat. So Virginia starts out really slow. Right, offense has nothing doing, and then you get a little spark. You get an interception, a touchdown before that interception. Didn't capitalize on the interception. Just initial thoughts. The first half, the first play of the entire game was a little, jet sweep or whatever you want to call it to Terrell Harris that got bobbled, and that kind of set the tone offensively for the whole night. It's just thoughts on the offense, and the defense struggled too, but especially thoughts on the offense and how bad it was, how lacking it was. Dad, I'll start with you. The first half.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. And like you said, we got that first interception, and then I think I don't recall, third down. Remember, we had the ball down in their territory on third down. We didn't get it. It was third and 1 or 2 or 3, and then we ended up not getting a first down there. I just couldn't believe what the offense was doing. Drive. Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then at some point in the first half, I guess it was, I believe, when Chandler Morris, he took off running up that middle, and he just dove to the ground. And I looked at Mason. I said, I don't think he's right. And then Mason saw Daniel Kaelin warming up on the sideline, and I'm not gonna lie. In the second half, there was a point where I was like, Chandler Morris is hurt. Like, I don't know. He can't make a throw. He's off, and I'm telling Mason, I'm like, we got to change quarterbacks. And Chandler Morris is tough as nails, but I'm like, I need somebody coming there that can throw the football accurately. We got to move to football. But then, lo and behold, it worked itself out.
Yeah, I mean, the first half defensively, my gosh, we haven't missed that many tackles since NC State. It was like 3-4 missed tackles per play on some plays.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching the game. My father-in-law was here, and he's not a Virginia fan. He's just a fan of football, and he's watching. He looks up and was like, "My gosh, how many times are they going to miss that guy?" I mean, it's just like ridiculous. And I'm like, I don't even, it's hard to understand how you can be so good in the second half. And in the fourth quarter, I think we only gave up like 8 yards, or it was
7 yards, I think.
Number,
Yep.
in the fourth quarter. And it's like, I mean, they couldn't do anything. But that first, it was really just, like we went in the locker room and flipped the switch and came out and said, we're not going to let this happen. I don't know if Ole Miss did the same thing or if Washington State is just good and they don't have a lot of depth. So maybe they wear out. But like, I can't get past 59-10 North Texas over that team.
Yeah.
That's the same team that ran out of the locker room, got beat 59-10 by North Texas. I don't understand it. They did take Ole Miss, who's they were at the time,
They were
number 4
4
in the country, and now I guess they're further back after losing Saturday. But I mean, they did take them down to the wire as well. So at this point, at this point, you just got to be happy you got the win.
Yep.
And say, let's get Brady back healthy. Having him on the offensive line makes a big difference. We weren't able to run the ball against a bad run defense. North Carolina is going to show up and play their best game. They actually played a pretty good game Friday night. Had that game won, and I'm still not sure the guy fumbled before he crossed the line. I don't know. It was really close. Either way, they lost.
It was at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, either way, they lost on that play. And I look at it kind of like the Ole Miss, the Washington State game. You could have gone either way. Like Washington State could have folded and said, "Oh man, that was our chance to win a big one." No, they came right back the next week and wanted to win it even worse, it seemed. So is Carolina going to say, "Oh man, we were close, we folded," or is Belichick going to get their A game out of them? And I'm PTSD Virginia fan. I'm highly concerned for this Carolina game coming up because Chandler's not healthy. I don't care what Coach Elliott comes out and says tomorrow. You can't convince me he's healthy. He doesn't look the same. He's not as accurate with the football. When he's not as accurate, sometimes the decisions that he made, there was a couple throws that Jamal Edrin just plucked the ball out of the air.
Yes,
I don't know how they got through.
Yes.
And Edrin was the MVP of that game, in my opinion. Not only for the blocking that he had, which he has every game, but my gosh, some of those catches. I mean, he's just plucking the ball out of like a crowd. I don't even know where particularly Chandler was throwing the ball in some instances. So, Chandler's got to be healthy. And, I mean, he's a difference maker. We got to have him. Without him, I don't think Danny's ready to come in and play at that level. Based on just the little bit we've seen. So we need him, but if he's not healthy, man, Saturday and games after that, I had this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. I had 2 thoughts. One, I felt bad for y'all. I said, God dang, Jeff and Jack and Mason gonna be driving back after this loss. That's a long ride back to Chesapeake. And then the second thought was, in November, after Thanksgiving, I'm going to have this sick feeling in my stomach that I have right now because this is what we're capable of. We saw, we looked at Florida State. We're capable of beating a top 10 team who's now lost 4 in a row. Don't even care about that. We broke them. They were good. We broke them.
There you go.
But that's what we're capable of. We are also capable of what we showed in the first half Saturday night. So if you play that way the Saturday after Thanksgiving, I promise you the Commonwealth Cup is going to stay in black.
I'm shaking my head, not because I disagree with you, but because I want you to just not talk about that, because you know how long we've got until the Commonwealth Cup. I don't want to worry about that. I don't want to stress about that. listen. The
We're
Hokies,
fans. This is a fan podcast. The team ain't got to worry about it. Coach Ellie ain't got to worry about it. I worry about Virginia Tech 365 days a year.
I do
That
too.
game matters.
But we're not talking about that on this platform. You keep that in the head. Listen. I have nightmares every night. I hear the little gobble sound effect every night
Oh,
in my
gosh.
dreams.
Jack, you're setting up for
Hokies.
when they say they occupy your mind rent free.
They do.
You just.
And Jay does too. Jay just said the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm holding back on
But
those
listen,
weak
we're
tails.
not getting into Virginia Tech right now. We've got far other things to discuss.
That was just my thought.
We've got a month and some change until we get to face the Hokies. So we're going to worry about Washington State for now. We'll talk about UNC a little more later this week. But for Washington State, one thing I wanted to bring up, you mentioned Edgerrin. Edgerrin was the second best player in the game, first best being Cam Robinson, but Edgerrin was the stud of the offense for sure. And his run blocking ability, but his reception. So he had like a ton of, I can't remember the yardage now. He had a lot of yards and
103, I think, Jay.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. I mentioned it in my post game from the field. On those, you had those read options where Morris would take it and float it up to him, and I really think that that's designed because of how good his running blocking is. People are so worried; they see him pancaking quarterbacks left and right every single week, so they're worried about that when they see Chandler Morris taking off to Edgerrin's side of the field, and then before you know it, Edgerrin releases from the blocker or from the edge, whoever he's the corner, and he's wide open for a good pass. I really think that's what set that up. But when you talk about the defense was on the field so much in the first half. I forgot to look at the exact time of possession, but I know it was as lopsided as you will ever see in this kind of level of football. And I guess you could say Power 5 matchup, if you consider the Pac-12 still a power conference with two teams. That's a brutal situation. That's a side note. What do you have to say about that? The time of possession and just, the defense was getting just ran through for the first half.
Well, it's only actually at the end of the game, it only ended up being I just looked at a 5-minute difference in time.
Oh yeah,
of
but the first half though.
But the first half, you couldn't completely blame the defense. The defense wasn't very good, but at the same time, they were on the field a lot. I mean, a lot. So, but the second half, like Jay said, I think 7 yards in the fourth quarter is what they finished with in the fourth. I texted Jack at one point in the game. It was probably in the third quarter, and I said, the only way we win this game is if they give it to us.
Yeah.
And listen, sometimes you just got to take your gift and you accept it and you move on. But that play you mentioned, Jay, that throw to Edgerrin that he went up and got, when that throw was made, I just assumed it was getting picked. And I told Mason, and even after the play was done and was caught, there were two receivers standing next to each other on that throw. I don't know who ran what wrong. There were defenders all over the place. And he went up and got that ball. So I consider that luck one.
Yeah.
And it's not luck that Edgerrin caught that ball. That dude's a stud. But it was luck that ball won't intercept
right place,
it.
right time.
And so that was one of the things gifted to us. And then of course, that fair catch situation down there. After we ended up getting the game tied up, then you get a fair catch. Well, let me go back. Then we get the interception that leads to the field goal to tie the game.
Before in that, I got a question. I was watching on tape delay, so I wasn't even live. I'm fast forwarding from play to play. Did Whaley fumble and we recover, or did because at first I thought they were going off the field like Washington State had the ball, and then I fast forwarded and it came back and we had the ball. So was there like a replay on that? Or
Yeah.
what?
We
They
had the ball
challenged it.
along. Whaley fumbled, but we recovered. It was never. So this was confusing that they challenged it. Not Stanford.
Okay.
Geez, Washington State challenged it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which made I was told my dad in the car on the way home, like it made no sense. Like
It was
I
bone
know
dead.
the play calling would have been different. That's a timeout that they could have used late in the game after that 2-minute warning. Like it was a terrible decision. But yeah, they challenged the fumble, which I don't know how you could ever overturn something like that. But yeah, we recovered it all along. Teams came off the field, which I didn't even know it was a challenge. They never announced that the play was being challenged. They just kind of ran like it was a timeout. And I went to the bathroom because I saw it was a TV timeout. I come back and they're looking on the video. I'm like, what are we looking at? But, but yes, it
And
was a fumble.
and
Whaley
the
recovered.
replays in the stadium, like I didn't even see anybody recover the football. You can't even see every replay they showed. I was like, well, what would make the coach challenge it? And, you know, my heart was in my throat at this point. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You had to have
Right.
seen something to challenge it. If that's what he got, he had terrible advice to challenge it, because you get one challenge a game and you lost a timeout, which was more important to them.
Yeah.
So then you're right. We fumbled the football, and then we end up, we get the field goal to tie it after we had intercepted them, and then of course the fair catch. So those three things that I was just mentioning, and we walked out with the win.
On that interception too, I feel like I watch games a lot of times and teams will throw interceptions and I'm like, what in the heck? Like, where is he even trying to throw that? I feel like I never see that as Virginia on the defense. Like, they don't ever just, here's a freebie.
Right.
Except for the Coastal Carolina game. That's the only one.
Not since
Well, I was
as
listening to the Ball
ChatGPT
Hawk.
likes to
Ball Hawk says that he set him up. Like, he went to one route. He set him up by like acting like he was going to cover. I don't know if it was the flat or what, but and then he got back, and so he just didn't see. He set him up basically, and he threw it right to him. But I was watching that live. I'm like, what is the like? That was a Kellen Cherry. The blitz is on the way, and I'm just getting it out of my hands.
I would like to say I really believe in that pick as well. Once again, I think that the fans played a big role.
Yes.
It was so loud in that situation that he just got flustered. Like I'm telling you, the gifts and then the fans played a huge role in that game. What was that biggest crowd this year? More than Florida State. And that's for Washington State. So all I could think was, we get this crowd in here, we're going to lose this game, and what's Wake Forest going to be, 20,000? I mean, holy cow!
Yeah,
the bad thoughts go into my head. I'm like, are we even going to make a bowl?
Jay,
you know what I was
just
thinking?
removed
I
you
was
from the
thinking.
stage.
I was thinking about my 7-win bet. I was like, wow. Now we got to get 2 more wins, and I started looking down the line, and I'm like, where are these 2 wins coming from?
I got to apologize
that's
to the
called-
team. They've earned more respect than that. But I swear I was sitting there thinking, well, if we lose this game, where are we going to get win 6? I'm scared to death.
Jay, that's because of 46 years. Each of us will combine our ages. 92 years of being
Terrible.
burned that you can't get it out of your brain.
You can't. And I apologize if I seem a little out of it. I keep looking up. I got the Monday night sweats. I'm drenched over here from fantasy football. The Monday night sweats. I've got the game on, and St. Brown, Amon-Ra, and the Tampa tailback, Rachaad White, are going against me. And every time they get a point, I'm falling further behind. I got JSN in the next game, and whoo.
Well, there you go. Speaking of Monday
and
night,
also on that, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was to say, speaking of the fantasy and the Cavalier Connection League, I'm playing Jack tonight, and I'm going to get the win off of tonight's game. It was coming down to the wire, and Rachaad White has put up enough for me to take the lead and maintain my my top spot in that Cavalier Connection League.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was 0-6 after 3 weeks. I'm looking at 7-7 after 4. I can't ask for anything more. Driving into playoff position here.
I can't ask for more than 12-2, but I guess 14-0.
Yeah.
So to get back on topic here, it was something I said on the way home that I noticed about this game. 100% last year's Virginia team, the year before Virginia's team, would not win this game. And that's not just because of the talent on the field. That's because of, I don't know, it is a part of the talent on the field, but this is games that Coach Elliott and his staff has lost 2 years in a row. He talked about it at ACC kickoff. They've been in like 13 games. They've lost 13 games where it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter. And now we've seen it a couple times now this year. This is 3 games in a row where, shoot, they're down in the fourth quarter and they find a way to make it happen. Would you guys agree that this is one? I mean, this is what the staff has done this year. It's been a flip. I know they lost the NC State game, but they're winning the close games where the last couple of years they really haven't been able to.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead,
just the maturity. I mean, this is a team which, I mean, I don't know the average age, but daggone, you're probably close to having an average age as close as some NFL teams.
Yep.
I mean, when you got 24-year-olds and whatnot, there's a lot of guys with a lot of life experience. Got some guys going home to wives and babies and pets, and they're living the adult life, which is good. I mean, it's a maturity that only comes with life experience. Never get too high, never get too low, and just play through adversity and keep that belief. Coach Elliott always talks about believing. He talked about making a decision at halftime of, are we going to come out and just win this game? We got to make a decision as a team that we're going to play better, to give ourselves a shot. And it looked like they did. They did just that. So, again, I think it's a maturity that previous rosters haven't had, and a lot of that's the transfer portal. I mean, it's what it is. We paid for this. If we were losing these games, what would we have paid for? I mean, we're getting a return on investment.
I don't know who
as
we
you should
is.
expect.
Well, and the depth as well, and that depth, that we haven't had in years past, because of the transfer portal, has made a difference. These fourth quarter one-score games when you could be a little more fresh, or as I don't remember who we had on was talking about, the second and third string guys are not really Power 5, Power 4 conference players as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned the belief in this team, Jay. Would you say, and it's a very bland question, but I want you to take with it whatever you want. Is your belief still in this team after Saturday night's game?
So, if I'm being completely honest, as I took a dip in confidence. So let's say we were at a 10. Let's just say 1 to 10 after Louisville. My confidence in this team was probably a 9.
Mm-hmm.
That we could get to the ACC championship game. We could make the college football playoff. I would say I'm somewhere around a 6. I would say 6.5 or 7. I took a hit. I'm not going to lie. The toll that game took on me, like, I can't unsee what I saw in the first half. And so, do I think it's possible? Yeah, but I also think it's possible that we lose Saturday now. And before Saturday night, in my mind, the UNC game was not a gimme, but it was going to be easy, and we were going to score 50 on them. And now I'm concerned.
Dad?
Yeah, I'm about the same as Jay. I mean, and it's not so Washington State is not Louisville's caliber, but Louisville, we had 2 defensive touchdowns. The offense hasn't looked good for 2 games, and I can't get those out of my head because, against Florida State, we scored, 44 or whatever it was. 46. And, we just been scoring. Like, I just didn't feel like teams could even stop us. And
Right.
now I've watched it happen 2 games in a row. So that makes you nervous. I mean, I'm confident in the team, but it's swayed down a little bit as far as a playoff potential or ACC champ. Yes, they can win it. I mean, the schedule sets up nicely for them. But the slip up situation is sitting there, and UNC does make me nervous. They're desperate for a win, and the oldest rivalry in the South. It would be a good time for them to get one in Chapel Hill.
I think it's really normal for the belief to dip in the fan base. I probably took a small bit of a dip. I do think I have a lot of confidence in this team still. I kind of thought about it in the fourth quarter because obviously I'm just stressing the whole game, just like any other fan would be. In the fourth quarter, though, when the tide began, not quite when the tide completely turned, but when the tide began to turn, I thought to myself, what has this team already overcome? Only scoring so many points against Louisville, having 2 defensive touchdowns, and still finding some way to win in overtime, or finding a way to beat top 10 FSU, whatever. I don't know what it was, but I got a little bit of confidence in the team. I really, even though they were still down at this point that I'm talking about, I was like, they're gonna find a way. Like, there's no way they're just gonna drop and fold like this, and they did. Now, I'm not saying that they will for the rest of the season. Again, it's Washington State. But, I do still have a confidence in this team that they can get done in close situations. They can find a way to make that clutch play like came out. And again, they got gifts from Washington State. They really did. That fair catch situation, I've never seen that before. The false fair catch call, and the interception. They just Washington State seems to just give up almost.
I'm gonna say one thing. It's not the team's fault that my expectations have risen to a point that, to be quite honest, only a CFP berth will leave me satisfied at this point. That's not the team's fault.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that. I've never sniffed it, and I got a whiff. I got a faint whiff. I smelt that playoff air. And anything less than that for this season, like, what is a Gator Bowl berth? A Tax Slayer Bowl berth? The Camping Pop-Tart Bowl berth? Like, those things are great, and I'm sure we'll look back and say, heck of a year. But it ain't the Orange Bowl. Like, 2019 going to the Orange Bowl. That was a big deal, even though you didn't make the playoff. The Orange Bowl was a big deal. We get to say we go 9-3, and we get to a good bowl. We don't play for the ACC championship, and we don't certainly make the college football playoff. That's a heck of a year that we'd have all signed up for.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to leave with the satisfaction that I feel like I just feel like I need that playoff first.
Hey, listen, Tony,
is my fault.
Tony Elliott would say the same thing. He would agree with you. And he said it in the press conference. He said, at ACC Media Day, people think I was crazy, but he believed this as well. So he would be in full agreement with you.
I hope Jake Malisak is saving his money because he's got some playoff tickets to buy.
He's in the middle of a battle with the Louisville fans right now.
Yeah, he's battling hard with Louisville fans right now. If you
I wouldn't know because I'm not on Twitter.
You can get on there and look. So we can look. So you can get on Twitter and you can view everything.
Yeah.
You just can't post.
You also have a personal account, Jay. You just never post on that. You have a personal account.
Oh yeah, I post. I just can't even look at Twitter right now. I can't even look at it.
Well, Malisak is is battling with Louisville fans.
Yeah,
they're all talking about how much better Louisville is than Virginia after losing to Virginia, and he's going back. And he said he came out actually I think today and said I hate Louisville fans more than Virginia Tech fans.
Oh, goodness.
But he said in parentheses, he said, I still hate Virginia Tech fans more.
Today only, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's going to wrap us up tonight. We really appreciate all of you for listening with us, tuning in. Go check out thecavalierconnection.com. Jay will have an article up there tomorrow and lots of more articles to come, as well as check out the previous stuff on YouTube. We have some recent interviews you can go check out if you might have missed them, as well as my recap from the field. With more statistical numbers and whatever. But that's going to wrap us up tonight. And go Hoos.
Go Hoos.